Stop planting carrot seeds wrong. This genius egg carton trick changes everything, seriously. If you've ever planted carrots and ended up with thin, tangled, disappointing roots, or, worse, nothing at all, you're not alone. Carrots are one of those crops that seem simple until you actually try to grow them. The seeds are tiny, spacing is tricky, thinning is tedious, and, honestly, one small mistake can ruin your entire harvest. But what if I told you there's a ridiculously simple, almost too easy trick that fixes most of these problems at once? And yes, it involves something you probably throw away every week: egg cartons. Today on Soil Stories, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this method works, why it's so effective, and how you can use it to grow straight, healthy, perfectly spaced carrots without the usual frustration. Let's be real for a second. Carrots are not beginner-friendly if you follow the traditional method blindly. The seeds are incredibly small, almost like dust. When you try to sow them directly into the soil, it's easy to drop too many in one spot. That leads to overcrowding, which means you have to thin them later. And thinning carrots? That's where many gardeners go wrong. When you pull out extra seedlings, you disturb the roots of the ones you want to keep. That stress can lead to stunted growth, forked carrots, or uneven shapes. On top of that, carrot seeds need consistent moisture to germinate, and if the soil dries out even briefly, germination can fail. So the problem isn't you, it's the method. The egg carton trick solves three major problems at once: spacing, moisture retention, and root disturbance. Think of each egg cup as a perfectly measured planting station. Instead of scattering seeds randomly, you're giving each carrot its own little home right from the start. No overcrowding. No aggressive thinning. No wasted seeds. Even better, the carton itself helps retain moisture during the critical germination phase. Carrot seeds can take up to 2 weeks to sprout, and during that time, they must stay consistently moist. The egg carton acts like a mini moisture buffer, reducing the risk of drying out. And here's the best part: when done right, you can plant the whole carton directly into the soil. That means zero root disturbance. Not all egg cartons are created equal, and this step matters more than people think. You want to use cardboard or paper pulp cartons, not plastic or styrofoam. The biodegradable ones will break down naturally in the soil, allowing roots to grow freely. Before you use them, make sure they're clean and dry. If they've been exposed to raw egg residue, let them dry completely to avoid attracting pests. If you're gardening in a hot climate, like many of us here in East Africa, these cartons are especially helpful because they help reduce moisture loss in the early stages. Start by preparing your garden bed. Carrots love loose, well-draining soil. If your soil is compacted or full of stones, your carrots will come out short, twisted, or forked. Take time to loosen the soil at least 20 to 30 centimeters deep. Next, take your egg carton and cut off the lid. You'll be left with the tray section that holds the eggs. Place it directly on the soil where you want your carrots to grow. Press the carton gently into the soil so it sits securely and doesn't move around. Each cup should be in contact with the soil beneath it. Now comes the planting. Add a small amount of fine soil or compost into each cup, then place just 1 or 2 carrot seeds per section. This is where the magic happens. You're controlling spacing from the very beginning. Lightly cover the seeds with a thin layer of soil. Carrot seeds don't like being buried too deep, so keep it shallow. Water gently but thoroughly. The goal is to moisten both the soil and the carton. This is where most carrot growers fail, but with this method, you're already ahead. Carrot seeds need consistent moisture, not soaking wet, but never dry. The egg carton helps by holding moisture around each seed pocket. In hot or dry conditions, you can take it a step further by lightly covering the area with mulch or even a damp cloth for the first few days. This creates a microclimate that encourages faster and more reliable germination. Within 7 to 14 days, you should start seeing those delicate grass-like carrot seedlings pushing through. Here's the beauty of this method. In most cases, thinning becomes minimal or unnecessary. If you planted 2 seeds per cup and both germinate, you can simply snip the weaker seedling at soil level instead of pulling it out. This avoids disturbing the roots of the stronger plant. Compare that to traditional sowing, where you might have to remove dozens of seedlings and risk damaging the rest. One of the most common questions I get is, won't the carton block the roots? Well, the answer is no, at least not if you're using the right material. Cardboard egg cartons actually break down naturally over time, especially when they're kept moist. As they decompose, carrot roots push through easily and continue growing downward without any restriction. And, the slow breakdown even adds a small amount of organic matter to your soil, which your garden will definitely appreciate. Once your carrots have sprouted, your focus shifts to steady growth. Keep the soil consistently moist, especially during the early stages. Carrots don't like sudden changes in moisture levels. Irregular watering can lead to cracking or bitter roots. Because your plants are already well spaced, thanks to the egg carton method, they'll have better access to nutrients and less competition. This means healthier foliage and stronger root development. Make sure your bed stays weed-free. Carrots don't compete well with weeds, especially when they're young. If you're new to gardening, this trick removes a lot of the guesswork. You don't have to worry about spacing, overseeding, or complicated thinning techniques. If you're experienced, this method saves time and increases efficiency. It's especially useful if you're planting multiple rows or trying to maximize a small space. And for those of us documenting our journey on soil stories, it's also a visually satisfying and teachable method, perfect for sharing with others. Even with a great method, a few small mistakes can still affect your results. Don't let the carton dry out completely during germination. That's the fastest way to lose your crop before it even starts. Avoid planting too deep. Carrot seeds need light to germinate, so keep the covering soil minimal. And don't use glossy or coated cartons. These won't break down properly and can restrict root growth. Once you try this method, the difference is hard to ignore. Your carrots will grow straighter because they're not competing for space. They'll be more uniform in size, making harvesting easier and more satisfying. You'll waste fewer seeds, spend less time thinning, and enjoy a more predictable harvest. It's one of those simple changes that quietly transforms your gardening experience. Sometimes, the best gardening hacks aren't complicated or expensive. They're simple, practical, and hiding in plain sight. Like an egg carton in your kitchen. This method isn't just about growing carrots, it's about working smarter with what you already have, reducing waste, and creating systems that make gardening more enjoyable and less frustrating. That's what Soil Stories is all about. Real solutions, real results, and a deeper connection to the soil beneath our hands. If this tip changed how you see carrot planting, imagine what else you might be missing. Make sure you subscribe to Soil Stories for more practical, game-changing gardening tips, and share this with a fellow gardener who's tired of struggling with carrots. Let's grow smarter, together.